Would you believe that in Petaling Jaya, also known as PJ, just 15 minutes in Kuala Lumpur city centre, there's a full-on jungle hike waiting for you. Most people drive past this road every single day without knowing that this forest is here. But today, you're going to see it for yourself. Hello! A lot of people say that Bukit Gasing is the perfect jungle hike in Petaling Jaya, and in many ways it is. You've got dense jungle, hidden trails, and even a suspension bridge right here so close to the city. Here's the twist. It's not as simple as many people make it sound. By the end of the video, you'll see exactly what happens when I try and take this hike on. This is the entrance. Free entry, no ticket, and no barrier. I don't think for a second that it's going to be easy. So, here's the challenge for you. Is Bukit Gasing a casual morning stroll, or is it a hike that will actually challenge you? Stay with me, because the real answer won't come until the very end. This is one of the last green lungs of PJ, and once you step in, you forget that you're just a few minutes away from the city. I spent a reasonable amount of time in various places around Southeast Asia: Bangkok, Yangon, Jakarta, and now currently in Kuala Lumpur, and I've got to say that I haven't seen any other place that gives you such close proximity and access to nature in this region. 15 minutes from the city centre, you're in a hidden jungle like this. That's not to say that you can't access nature fairly close to other places in Southeast Asia. For example, if you're living in Bangkok, there are places that you can get to within an hour to 2 hours of the city to get an escape to the nature. But to have this close proximity to nature within the city, I would say is quite rare. With this hidden jungle, you're about to see how real this one gets. Alright, so here we are, the first ascent of the trail. Pretty much 5 to 10 minutes into the trail, you'll be greeted by this incline. It's a good way to start the trail. 5 or 10 minutes of steady flat to begin with, and then, I have to watch my step a bit here, and then this incline, which will be the first cardio burn that you'll have on the trail. Alrighty, just got one thing for you to be mindful of, and that is that one of the standout features of the trail is closed. That is the suspension bridge. It just seems like it's temporary for now, so yeah, just be mindful of that when you come. You need to check on updates to see if and when it is opened again. So I'm going to be well, I've adjusted my itinerary for this trek, and what's going to happen instead is I'm going to take you to something that's slightly tougher on the trail in terms of physically. Also, in the meantime, make sure that you definitely bring an abundance of water. So today I brought 2 litres of water. Feel free to bring more if you need to. mosquito repellent. I layered myself up before I came on the trek, electrolytes as well, and also make sure that you bring lots of other supplies that you may need, energy bars, or some snacks. You can either bring like a cap, sunglasses, all of these type of things to make sure that you're fully equipped for the trail ahead. Alrighty, another little tip here. Take plenty of rest breaks when you need to. The heat can be quite challenging out here. It is fairly well shaded, a lot of these treks, and the one today is well shaded, but it is good to take breaks and to pace yourself throughout the trail. Also, I think it goes without saying, staying well hydrated, taking plenty of sips of water as frequently as you can during the trail to stay hydrated. Alright, so I thought I'd take some time here to do a bit of a walk and talk, just to give you some more advice about how you can plan efficiently and effectively for these type of trails. So what I do the night before is I will plan the route I'm going to take, and I use two apps to do that. First I'll take a look at the Google map just to pin the main sites along the trail, and then after that I'll look at all trails. It's a great app to use, and there's other similar apps which you can use, and I'll take a look at the different types of trails that are on offer, and then I'll pick one, and then I'll try and stick with that, and that helps me navigate the trail as I make my way from point to point. So that's kind of how I plan my trails. Also, what I'll do is I will, as much as possible, pack everything the night before, because then if I do it the night before, less likely to forget things. I'll also make a list of the things that I need to bring with me, so I'm fully prepared, and then I can get going ASAP in the morning. Yeah, so that's just to give you an insight into how I plan for it, and you may find some use of that, and also you do your own due diligence as well and think about the type of things that you may need when you plan for these type of trails. All right, check it out. There's some sort of random abandoned house here on the trail. I'm not sure what the story behind it is, but yeah, you can see by the look of it, it's been left for quite some time, right? So yeah, not sure what the story is about this. If someone knows, you can drop it in a comment below. Just a random little find on the trail. All right, just had quite a nice experience with some local Malay people. There's a group of them on the trail, and had a nice interaction with them. They gave me the lowdown of the trail and the different points you can go to. I found out actually that people are still going onto the suspension bridge. That's good news, isn't it? Because on the trail app it said that the suspension bridge has actually been closed since July, so a couple of months. So I'll be interested to see how that pans out. Another hill to contend with. So yeah, gonna keep moving. And here it is, the famous suspension bridge. Imagine yourself being here, surrounded by nature, greenery everywhere, the slight sway side to side of the suspension bridge. Does your city park have one of these? This is where Bukit Gasing really shows off, and it's only a few minutes from Kuala Lumpur. So that's the suspension bridge done. Next, it's another climb, and I promise you, the climb will be worth it. Alright, so just checking in here as we're making our way to the next point. Just going to be honest here, I'm struggling a little bit. I didn't plan to go to the suspension bridge. Skewed up the plans a little bit. Get to the point I'd like to show you, but having a bit of a difficulty here because I can't access the internet here for obvious reasons. And so I can't really go back and review my trail. So yeah, kind of having a little bit of an issue. So I guess the point I'm kind of trying to come to is that I will try my best to stick to this route. I just got kind of lost over there somewhere a minute ago, so just kind of came back to the main trail. I'm going to see where this leads to, and we'll take it from there. Alrighty, full honesty with you, I've crossed the suspension bridge. I've had a really good trek testing my limbs, but for the life of me, I just can't find the hilltop. And you know what? That is Bukit Gasing for you. It's not some sort of manicured tourist trek. It's raw and it's pure nature. And it's what you'd expect from a raw jungle in the middle of the city. So instead of giving you the cinematic skyline reveal, this is the reality. Jungle trek followed by the suspension bridge, and you may get tested and you may not end up finding exactly what you set out to find. But here's the twist. Maybe this is the payoff, because you'll come here and you'll have your own adventure. Maybe you'll find the peak. Maybe you'll get lost amongst the trees. But whatever happens, you're going to get a good sweat in, you're going to be exposed in the nature, enjoying the scenery and getting a good workout. And you'll also realise that Kuala Lumpur is hiding a jungle workout right under your nose. So here's what you need to know. Come prepared with a good pair of shoes, an abundant amount of water, and also a sense of humour. Start early and beat the heat. And if you can't find the so-called peak, no need to stress. The beautiful jungle and the active hike is enough on its own. So, would you have called this a success or a failure? Drop me a comment below and let me know if you would have persevered for longer than me. For me, I'll admit defeat, but it's a workout well earned, and straight from jungle back to city life.